very good evening. This is Sunday's edition of Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct this evening from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Joel Outskun. First, a look at the headlines.
Government announces its stance on CITEM. A ceremonial AGM for the GMOA. Presidential Task Force on Drug Prevention says the license granted to the alcohol distillery in Calcutta violates the national drug prevention policy. Dairy farmers in Dambulla protest demanding fair prices. Oil tank explosion kills more than 100 in Pakistan.
Starting off with our top story this evening. The government's stance on the boycott of educational activities by university students and the strike launched in government hospitals was clarified to the media today through a media release. The media release had been issued by Presidential Secretary P.B. Abekun on instructions of President Maithripala Sirisena.
Following an emergency meeting with the President yesterday, the GMOA announced that they will be calling off their strike action. Thereafter, the GMOA issued a media release noting that they had agreed on 4 key points during the discussion with the President. The media release issued by the Presidential Secretariat notes that the conditions imposed on CITEM by the government will be announced through an extraordinary gazette. The media release notes that CITEM will be compelled to halt enrollment and awarding degrees to students until the criteria mentioned in the gazette is fulfilled. It notes that since CITEM will be compelled to prove before a court of law that they have at least the minimum requirements to conduct medical educational activities, the minimum standards of medical education will be gazetted immediately. The release also notes that neither the Sri Lanka Medical Council nor its chairman should receive undue pressure to a point which affects their independence. According to the media release, the curriculum of students currently studying at CITEM will be altered into one which is accepted by the Sri Lanka Medical Council, while a method will also be formulated for graduates of CITEM to be registered with the Sri Lanka Medical Council. The release further reads that the Attorney General has been instructed to inform the Supreme Court regarding the government's stance on CITEM. It also notes that steps are being taken to convert CITEM into a public-private partnership and that plans are already in motion to nationalize the hospital attached to the medical college. The media release also notes that in order to procure the funds necessary, CITEM will be opened up to the share market or a fund, either government or private, will be set up. The government also hopes to engage in discussions with the parties concerned in order to resolve any other issues that may arise. Since all issues are resolvable through discussions, the government urges university students to return to their education activities and plan out their personal future after taking into consideration the enormous amounts of public funds being fed into the free education system by the government. It also hopes that the students who come out through the free education system will work towards the common goals of the free health service and the national aspirations of the government. The release concludes by stating that it was issued in order to clarify the government's stance on the matter after taking into consideration the views of the Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Health, teachers, students of both sides and the doctors' associations. Specialist Dr. Anuradha Padenia, who ran unopposed, was re-elected as the President of the Government Medical Officers Association for the year 2017-2018. The re-election took place during the annual general meeting of the GMOA held in Colombo yesterday. Here are some scenes from the event. What do you think about organizing such an event and celebrating victory?
Politics means controlling the state. However, I am being appointed by doctors. We are formulating several market policies and we are working to protect the standards of doctors. All this is important to the people. In other countries, there are politicians who do this. The lack of such politicians has forced us to do it.
What is your response to charges that you are engaging in politics through the association?
This is not a party. This is the annual general meeting.
It looks like a party.
Are you asking us to cry at the AGM? How else are we supposed to hold an AGM? There's no need to teach a journalist how to hold an AGM.
Isn't this something beyond a usual gathering?
This isn't a usual gathering, this is the AGM. Are you asking us to bring all these people together and send them back without giving them something to eat? They go hold a discussion with the president and reach agreements regarding actions that are already taking place. Why did they conduct a 3-day strike and inconvenience the public when they could have resolved this so easily? They then hold an AGM, throw a nice party and ask, are we supposed to cry at such an event? This is the ethical behavior of doctors. They have no problems if patients die. Saitam was a product of Mahinda Rajapaksa's oppressive regime. The doctors could not and did not strike back then. The university students did not get onto the streets, nor did the Frontline Socialist Party take any action. When questioned by some media channels regarding the educational qualifications of doctors, some reply by saying that they can't remember. If doctors who are created through free education can't remember their advanced level results, will the doctors who come out from private universities remember theirs?
Minister Sajith Premadasa commented on the actions of the GMOA during an event held in Thisamarama, Hambantota.
මහා ලොකුවට සිංහයෝ වගේ වැඩ වර්ජනය කරන්නට ආපු අර වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ
The officials of the GMOA, who were brave enough to engage in a strike action, approached the president at the presidential palace and called off the strike action. They started off like lions, but stopped because had they continued for a couple of more days, the general public would have taken matters into their own hands and taken action against these doctors. The GMOA was exposed. The GMOA is a branch of the former president's joint opposition.
නිර්වත හෙළි වුණා. මේ වෛද්‍ය සංගමය කියන්නේ මිත්‍රවරුනි මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂයේ ශාඛාවක් තමයි.
Discussions regarding the renovation of the Ekamutugama Samagi Community Water Project was held today with the participation of Minister Sajith Premadasa. The minister promised to repair this facility at a cost of 2 million rupees.
The Unemployed Graduates Association in the South was established today under the auspices of JVP MP Sunil Hamdunetti.
When this government was coming into power, one of the promises made was to give employment opportunities to 1 million within 5 years. Back then, we questioned how it will be achieved. If this bit can be achieved, then 200,000 opportunities need to be given each year for a period of 5 years. They challenged us and said that the result will be shown once they come into power. Now we would like to know if this promise has been kept. How can we still see unemployed graduates from the year 2012?
Following are some of the views that were expressed during a media briefing held at the UMP headquarters today.
The best method to unite Sri Lanka with the world will be through commercial diplomacy. We believe rather than taking a loan and moving forward, doing businesses and reaping its benefits will be more profitable. There are 64 embassies. We hope to expand our reach by expanding some embassies. We will close some as well. We have a goal of setting up 70 embassies. On the 4th of September, a meeting will take place with all the ambassadors in the world together with the President and the Prime Minister. This 2-day meeting will hold discussions on how to move forward with the country's policies. Furthermore, through our foreign ministry, we have discovered that certain persons have misused our VIP processes. Limitations have been imposed after discussions with the President and the Prime Minister.
The joint opposition convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
The responsibilities pertaining to the Lotteries Board has been vested with Minister of Foreign Affairs Ravi Karunanaika, and this has led to a legal dispute. According to the laws regulating the Lotteries Board, the responsibility and the right to issue orders to the board is vested with the Ministry of Finance. The Foreign Affairs Minister has no mandate to issue instructions to the Lotteries Board. Because there is no one to issue clear orders, the Lotteries Board is now in trouble. These lottery tickets have no date on which the draw will be held. This is what the public purchase. These are tickets sent to a lottery agent. When such things happen, how can the public buy tickets with confidence? No one knows how many illegal tickets are in the market. The Economic Research Unit notes that the proper procurement process has not been adopted with regard to lottery tickets. The Auditor General notes that these tickets should be observed and regulated by 4 departments of the Treasury. When this incident occurred, we called on the President to bring these 2 lotteries departments under him. As a Member of Parliament appointed by the public, I hope to go before the Supreme Court next week to seek a solution.
The The Telecommunication Regulatory Commission can fall under the Ministry of Environment. Aviation can fall under the Ministry of Transport. Roads can fall under the Ministry of Higher Education. So why are they pointing the finger only at this? When this was started, there was no issue when the subject fell under the purview of the Ministry of National Policies, which was overlooked by President J.R. Jayawardena. Was there no issue when it was taken over by Lalit Atlatmudali under the Ministry of Defence? Then it was taken under the Ministry of Science and Technology. But it is a problem only when Ravi Karunanayake overlooks it. Why? There was no corruption. There is a problem for one person in Kurunegala. We reduced the amount to print a ticket from 69 cents to 29 cents through a tender. One person held on to this for years without any tenders. I am not afraid of such things. What we need is a method to increase our income.
The Presidential Task Force on Drug Prevention, or the PTF-DP, says that the license granted to an alcohol distillery in the Calcutta area in Batticaloa is in violation of the National Drug Prevention Policy. The Sunday Times reports under its main headline that the director of the task force has requested for a reply from the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance regarding the license granted to the distillery.
The Sunday Times, quoting the director of the task force, says the PTF-DP strives to create a country free of drugs and has been able to generate positive changes with the help of the government. He adds that the PTF-DP has received a complaint about setting up of a liquor factory in the Calcutta area.
A certain private company has taken steps to commence an ethanol production facility in Calcutta. There was great public opposition against it, and this also violates the President's vision as well as national policy. In accordance with the President's manifesto, a massive program was launched to save the people from the menace of drugs and alcohol. At a time when we are trying to move our farmers away from cultivating tobacco, granting approval for such large companies to set up alcohol plants and drag the people down once more is in clear violation of the government's policies. Based on the President's advice, the Presidential Task Force on Drug Prevention will be taking action against it.
Newsfirst reported on a number of occasions as to how construction activities are being carried out on a 19-acre plot of land for an alcohol distillery by W.M. Mendes and Company. The chairman of W.M. Mendes and Company, according to its official website, is Arjun Joseph Aloysius, who is the son-in-law of the former governor of the central bank, Arjuna Mahendran, who is implicated in the impugned bond scam of the CBSL. Deputy Minister Amir Ali spoke in Parliament on a letter that has been sent by the President, saying that he will not allow the distillery to continue. There were attempts to set up an alcohol distillery that belongs to a private company in the Calcutta area. They were planning to manufacture alcohol. The government opposed it, but they continued the work. This is very disappointing. Recently, the President replied to a letter. He guarantees that he will not let this ethanol distillery to go ahead. We believe in that statement. We will believe that the distillery will not be constructed. We commend the letter sent by the President. Chief Opposition Whip Anuru Kumar Dissanayake also spoke on the matter recently.
Plantation එකත් මම දැක්කා දිගින් දිගටම ඉල්ලා හිටියා.
There were requests to gazette Galloy plantations under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The government controls 51% of the Estate Development Board, while the rest is with the private sector. The Hinguran of Sugar Factory comes under this board. The chairman of Galloy Plantations had stated that in the sugar manufacturing business, sugar is a byproduct and that the main product is alcohol. Thereby, they commenced an ethanol production facility. It has been 8 months since the plant began. On a number of occasions, letters were sent to the Excise Department and the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance to provide a license for the ethanol plant. Why is the government not providing a license? Because there needs to be tests. So the Excise Department raided this plant and fined them. A government institute has spent money and commenced an ethanol plant, but the Excise Department is not issuing a license. So the Galloy plant suffered a daily loss of 1 million rupees because of this. You don't issue a license to the government plant, but in turn, you issue a license to a private company in the same area. What is the aim of this? The aim is to provide the molasses from the Galloy plant to this private company. The Ministry of Finance should explain why the Hingurana plant does not have a license to produce alcohol even after 8 months have lapsed.
Dairy farmers were protesting in Dambulla today, requesting solutions to certain issues that they are faced with.
They charge that a reasonable pricing mechanism is not in place for dairy products. The protest, which commenced from the Dambulla Gamuda grounds, proceeded towards the A9 road despite the rainy weather. Our correspondents reported that one lane on the road was blocked due to the protest, creating vehicular congestion. They are making conditions for not purchasing the milk instead of doing the opposite. A secretary to the president spoke. He said that the president has instructed him to tell us that he will provide a solution and asked us what the problem was. We received a promise that there will be a discussion. We agreed. We were asked to arrive at the presidential secretariat at 9:30 on the 29th. The protesters dispersed, spilling the milk that they had brought onto the street.
Up next is our award-winning segment, Action TV.
A total of 86 schools from the Wattegama educational zone and some from the Kandy area utilize the ground attached to the Tennakon Vimalananda College in Amunugama. However, last Tuesday, the Chief Minister of the Central Province shared with the Provincial Council that plans are underway to convert the school grounds into a bus stand. The day before this statement was made, Action TV revealed that the governor of the province had threatened the principal of the school to stand down from defending the school grounds. The principal in question had been fighting authorities since 2008 to maintain the integrity of this ground and was assaulted because of this action at the grounds itself on the 5th of October 2015. The principal filed a case against the chairman of the Kundasale Pradesha Sabha who attempted to misuse his powers to convert this ground into a bus stand. The cause concluded on the 1st of March this year with the chairman of the Pradesha Sabha promising never to set foot on the school grounds. In such a backdrop, on the 16th of this month, the secretary of the Kundasale Pradesha Sabha, who is vested with the responsibility of performing its activities, took steps to bulldoze the school grounds and park buses.
They can't stand when we do something through the Provincial Council. There was a large forest-like area here which was not being utilized. Based on a request from the area residents, we decided to create a bus stand here. This was debated by everyone, including our advisory council, ministers and members of the Zonal Educational Office. We have decided to use a part of the ground for this purpose.
The unused land, which the Chief Minister speaks of, has been utilized for sporting camps such as this one, which have been held in the recent past. In addition, the Director of Education in the Central Province has informed the Director of Zonal Education in Wattegama through a letter that the President does not believe that it is suitable to convert the school ground into a bus stand. Will Central Province officials who took steps to destroy the school ground, disregarding advice of the President as well, take steps to rectify their mistake? Action TV will keep a close watch.
A stock of cannabis was seized in the Dahamgama area after the Madagama police in Bibila conducted an emergency raid last evening using the police K9 unit. The suspect was also arrested.
The police dog used in the emergency raid was identified as Land. The stock of cannabis was recovered from 3 different locations. Police K9 Land discovered the first cache of cannabis behind a house in the area and immediately sniffed out a second cache hidden in a shrubbery area about 5 meters away from the first location. The K9 then tracked down the individual who had cannabis in his possession. The police said that the weight of the total stock was about 1 kilogram. A 70-year-old has been arrested by the Madagama police in connection to the cannabis. He will be produced before the Bibila Magistrates Court.
A blood donation was organized by 100 Buddhist monks at the Jaffna Teaching Hospital this morning.
The blood donation was carried out under the directive of the chief incumbent of the Sunetra Devi Pirivena in Papiliana. The project had been undertaken as a solution to the scarcity of blood at the blood bank of the Jaffna Hospital. The Maitri teachings of Lord Buddha is not limited to a certain group, caste or race of people. It is a universal teaching. Based on that universal teaching, 100 Theras of the Mahasangha decided to donate blood to the patients of the Jaffna Hospital to save their lives. Various people are trying to divide the people under the guise of reconciliation. This is a country where everyone can live as brothers and sisters. This is our motherland, a unitary state.
The centenary celebrations of St. Anthony's Church in Kalamulla, Kalutara was held today.
The centenary celebrations were carried out under the auspices of His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, Archbishop of Colombo. Kalmulla has been set up as a parish not to create quarrels among churches in the adjacent parishes. I saw this while the history of this mentioned the parish is there to create saints. The churches are there for the same reason. If you cannot become a saint, there is no point in going to church. Try and live a similar life to that of St. Anthony that you honor and respect.
The Modular Secondary School, which was one of the lowest ranked schools during the Ministry of Education's drive to categorize schools several years ago, has now broken into the top 50 schools within the country.
These students who live amidst many difficulties in the Nuwara district educate themselves at the Modular Secondary School in Walapane. Earlier, the advanced level and ordinary level pass rates in the school were at abysmal levels. In 2012, only 37% of the candidates who sat for the ordinary level examination passed the exam. It was then that the principal and the staff of the school launched a special program to improve the quality of education for these students. One of the unusual solutions that came about through this move was the introduction of night classes. This policy paid off for the school administration as there was a dramatic increase in the pass rates at the school.
By 2015, out of 98 educational zones, we were placed 59th. We have been able to turn the Walapane educational zone into the top-ranked zone in Nuwara district. This is because of the effort of the principal and the staff. We are ranked 6th in the central province. We were able to get the students into the law faculty as well as the IT faculty. The program that we have launched was proven to be a great success. The examination results prove that by adopting such a mechanism, we can improve any school.
The staff as well as the parents of students who strive so hard to make the dreams of these children a reality should be commended. The Modular Secondary School is an example to the entire nation.
In some tragic news, 3 people have died in a motor accident in Hungama, Hambantota. The accident occurred at around 3:30 a.m. when a tipper travelling towards Tangol collided with the 3-wheeler travelling in the opposite direction. 3 individuals who were in the 3-wheeler died in the accident. According to the police, there had been 4 passengers in the 3-wheeler, including 2 children. The 2 children who suffered injuries have been admitted to the Hambantota General Hospital. A motorcyclist died in an accident involving a car in the Mahamodar area in Gaul last evening. The car had fled the location of the accident. However, the Dadala police managed to track it down to an abandoned house in the area. Moving on to more news this evening. Newsfirst and our sister channel Sirasa TV won 8 awards at the Raigam Tellies 2016.
The grand 13th edition of Raigam Tellies was held at the Nelumpokona Theatre last evening. President Maithripala Sirisena attended the event as the chief guest. Newsfirst Joel Outskoon won the award for the Best English Presenter of the Year. Newsfirst Lakmal Kirindigala received a special evaluation award from the jury for the report on the true incidents behind the murder of Premavati Manamperi. Kadireshan Karthik of Shakti TV also received a special evaluation award from the jury. Newsfirst Action TV received the award for the Best Investigative Journalism segment of the year. Rajendran Kogulnath of Newsfirst received the award for the Best Tamil Presenter of the year. Pentathlon ad on our sister channel Sirasa TV was named as the Best Educational Program of the year. The most creative reality program of the year was Jana Asuna ad on Sirasa TV. Satana, a political debate program ad on Sirasa TV, won the award for the Best Political Program of the year. Sirasa Lakshapati received the award for the Best Quiz Program of the Year. Sirasa TV also received the award for the channel with the Best Programs of the Year 2016.
A special Jade Buddha statue was placed at the Sri Jayasekara Rame in Maradana today. The statue had been brought to the country from Thailand. A special religious observance was held at the Vihare under the auspices of Venerable Talalle Mahindathero, Chief Adhikarana Sanganayaka of the Veerananda section of the Amarapura Sri Saddhamma Nikaya and the Chief Incumbent of the Sri Jayasekara Rama Vihare in Maradana.
Of the Dayaka Sabha, Dayaka Society.
Starting off sports, it's rugby news. We're at home. St. Joseph's College Colombo beat EC Patna College Colombo 19-13 to win the 2017 President's Trophy. This is incidentally the first time the Josephians won this trophy. The finals of the school's knockout championship took place at the Racecourse grounds in Colombo and saw the Josephians lead from the very start. At the end of the first half, St. Joseph's were leading 8-5. In the second half, the Josephians were able to add 11 more points to their tally, while the Pathanians were able to score only one more try. The Josephians garnered their points with 2 tries and 3 penalties, while the Pathanians scored only 2 tries and 1 penalty. As a result, St. Joseph's College Colombo came on top and were able to clinch the 2017 President's Trophy with a score of 19-13. And in some F1 news, Daniel Ricciardo claimed a shock win for Red Bull in a wild and controversial Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which saw a major flashpoint between title rivals Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. Bottas of Mercedes and Lance Stroll of Williams completed the podium. Hamilton led through 2 safety car restarts and a full race restart following a red flag period. It was just before the second safety car restart where the flashpoint occurred, with Vettel running into the back of Hamilton as he managed pace behind the safety car. At the end of 51 laps, Vettel came in 4th while Hamilton finished 5th. Well, on that note, we wrap up the weekend edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you with us this evening. For a comprehensive update of more stories, log on to our website, www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Outscoon. Have yourself a great evening ahead. Take care. God bless you all.